to see you guys, but with the city being so on edge, it's hard to relax.
The Renans and Danans here don't trust each other. This place is a far cry from Vicent.
What about Pelagian? You took in most of the refugees from Lenegis, didn't you?
I've settled them on different levels of the city, so contact between the two cultures is minimal.
Better to gather all the Renans in one place to avoid unnecessary conflicts, huh?
And with the Lord guy here in charge, no one can do anything too crazy.
Come on. He's carrying out his duties as the Renan representative.
But if that's true, are you sure it's okay to leave the city?
Fortunately, I have people there I can rely on. Leaving for a short while shouldn't be a problem.
And Kisara, you're the captain of those new troops in Vicent, right?
That's right, the Service Corps. We're made up of former members of the Guard and armored soldiers. We serve as the people's shield in the new era. I'm not used to teaching so many new recruits, but I'm managing somehow.
Rinwell, you're in Vicent too, aren't you? Is your nose still stuck in a book all the time?
Yep. There are too many books to read, so I always end up cooped up at home.
Hey, you go out sometimes, like when you're investigating the ruins.
You seem to know a lot about it.
Oh, not really. It's just that sometimes I guard caravans as part of the Crimson Crows, you know? So whenever I stop by Vicent, I pop in to help with stuff. Anyway, what have you been up to, Alphen?
Are you and Xion still traveling around as usual?
Yeah, I don't feel ready to settle down in one place just yet. Xion?
Sorry. It's been a while, but it doesn't feel like anyone's changed, you know?
You're right. It really feels like the old days.
I know we've got a lot of catching up to do, but Nazamiel must be getting bored by now.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, Nazamiel.
I don't mind.
Xion's appetite is easy to read. What's this doing here? The mausoleum is just up ahead, huh?
Careful. There might be Zeugles around, so... what?
Oh, that wasn't you? Then...
Are you hungry?
No, that wasn't... It's perfectly normal for your stomach to growl when you're hungry. It's nothing to be ashamed or embarrassed about.
As long as it's not you, I guess.
What was that?
Nothing. It's not a good idea to take on a mausoleum on an empty stomach. Why don't we eat first?
Great idea, Alphen.
Oh, it's been a while since I last had Kisara's cooking.
We're not putting it all in Kisara. We're going to cook together.
Really, I'm not...
It seems everyone's in the mood to cook. If it's not too much trouble, we'd love for you to join us.
I had an idea for something we could make with what we have on hand, but it looks like I'm still short on a few ingredients. Luckily, I think we can find them around here.
No problem. Let's start looking.
What's this thing?
Well, that's strange. I wasn't expecting us to find a teleporter while looking for ingredients.
I wonder where it leads.
Regrettably, it looks like this one's target coordinates were never set. Until someone enters a destination, it's useless.
It's weird to find a teleporter out on its own like this.
Nazamiel, everything okay? What is that? Some kind of decoration?
Looks like a Danan relic. This is a land full of ruins, so it's not at all unusual.
That looks familiar for some reason. I'm sure I've seen it before. That's right! It's a good luck charm! I saw an illustration in an old book once.
Does it have some kind of special power?
Nah, nothing like that. This is the sort of thing you give to your family, or someone special, so you can feel connected with them, no matter how far apart you may be.
I guess the way people express their feelings is the same now as it was back then.
I don't need it. I don't have anyone like that.
Well, in that case, can I hold on to it then?
Sure, I don't care.
Okay. Why don't we head for the campsite and start cooking?
Looks perfect and tastes just as good.
I'm stuffed. It's nice eating with everyone like this, don't you think?
Indeed. It feels so liberating to relax under this beautiful sky. Moments like these are priceless.
Especially given how much you've been cooped up in your office lately. You've earned a break.
Hey, you okay? You don't look too good. Are you feeling sick?
I'm fine. It's just that it's a little uncomfortable. I've almost never eaten with others.
Oh, because both Danins and Renins. Well, what about your family?
I don't know anything about my mother. I've never met her.
What about your father?
My father would only visit when he needed me for something. And when he did, he would yell and beat me. The other members of my house did the same.
What?
So no, we didn't share meals.
Well then, I guess that makes us the first.
Huh?
Let me tell you a secret. You see, when you eat with people you're close to, it always makes food taste that much better.
Why is that?
That's a good question.
I suppose it's because when we share the same food, we're also sharing the joy of it.
Not only that, conversations are more lively when you're eating good food, too.
Food tastes better when it's shared.
There's more to a meal than simply filling your stomach. And knowing that is part of what motivates people to cook a good meal.
The food was really good.
Let's eat together again, okay?
Can I ask you something?
Of course. Ask us anything.
What I am. It doesn't bother you at all?
What, the thing about your parents? I mean, sure, it was a little surprising, but we're not really ones to talk when it comes to being unusual.
He's right. We are a rather strange group, all things told.
Exactly. For example, I'm Danin. But I'm also part of a mage clan that can use astral arts.
Dohalim here is a Renin lord who prefers poetry over power.
So, is that why you're with the Blazing Sword? With Alphen? Because you're different from others?
I suppose I appreciate how he embraces our eclectic natures, but that is not the only reason. We all have our differences, big or small. The question is, how we look at those differences.
What about Alphen and Shion?
In terms of different, those two are in a class all of their own. They're especially unique. But in the end, we see each other as fellow human beings. And when it comes down to it, all our differences are insignificant compared to that.
In other words, the way we see it, you're really not that different from the rest of us, Nazamiel. So I'm sure we can be friends.
Friends? Yeah.
You know, there's something about Nazamiel that reminds me of Dohalim. She's...
Elegant.
Yes, exactly!
My family was strict about manners.
No surprise there. Your father being a lord. Law, you can be so insensitive sometimes.
I don't mind. My house is gone now anyway.
That was back on Lenegus, right? When did you come down to Dana?
When my father joined the crown contest as a lord, we came down together.
Oh yeah, Ganeth Harrows, right? But didn't Voron...
Why are you asking anyway?
Why? The more we know about each other, the quicker we can become friends, right?
Is that how all of you became friends?
I suppose so. Getting to know each other is an important step in learning to understand one another. It can be difficult to trust a stranger, but once you understand them better, you can move toward becoming friends. Still, why don't we change the topic to something more cheerful?
I don't know any cheerful topics.
Walking together like this, it's like we're back in the old days.
The old days? It's only been a year.
But after the battle with the Great Spirit, so many things have happened. A lot has changed.
Great Spirit. Is it true it's the collective will that manifests from all the astral energy within a world?
Yes. Rena's great spirit manifested a will of its own and engineered the conflict between Dana and Rena. Together, we fought it 1 year ago.
In the end, Alphen's power defeated the Great Spirit, allowing its astral energy to finally become one with Dana's. And now, with the Great Spirit no longer influencing the Renan people, our two cultures finally have a chance to unite as well.
So all of that is something that the Blazing Sword... that Alphen did? He's the reason the world is the way it is now?
I mean, he's the one who did it, but it's more like it's this way because it was always supposed to be. The problem is, instead of seeing this as a new world, both Danans and Renans think that Dana just absorbed Rena into itself.
I mean, that is what it looks like, so I get the confusion. Rena disappears, then there's all these Renan buildings popping up everywhere. The hollowing and that sky.
It's a difficult situation. The Renans lost their home when Lenegus collapsed, and the Danans feel like they're being invaded by all the resulting refugees. Most Renans are currently living in Pelegion, but there are some who have traveled outside Ganath Haros to settle in other regions and Danan cities. In some cases, like in Niez, accepting them in has resulted in tensions. And then the mausoleums are a problem as well.
Guess the only thing that hasn't changed is the wandering Zeugles.
Even Zeugles aren't the same. They're more violent than before, probably due to the merging of the worlds.
As you can see, we still have a lot of issues to deal with, but we're trying to solve them as best we can.
I see.
You know, Nazamiel sure is fearless.
Now that you mention it, she is, isn't she? Maybe she's stronger than she looks.
Can I ask you something?
You don't have to ask that every time. What is it?
What kind of place is this mausoleum?
Well, it seems like it was originally supposed to help delay the collapse of Rena by controlling astral energy, but it's still operating, and that's not good.
Astral energy in this world is now composed of 6 elements, after Rena and Dana became one.
Just like it was supposed to be from the very beginning.
But before they merged, Dana had only 5 elements. Currently, the balance of energy is still shifting to achieve equilibrium. We believe these mausoleums are interfering with the flow of astral energy, preventing that balance. So we decided it's better to disable them.
So having 6 elements is normal?
Right. But something went wrong a long time ago, and they were divided. Rena got all the dark astral energy, and Dana got the light.
When I was small, my father told me that I have all 6 elements, so it was my duty to master them.
Undoubtedly, it's due to you having both Renan and Danan blood. In a way, you're a herald of a new era. Is something wrong?
No. For a moment, I was just worried you were going to say something like, "What a fascinating specimen." Sorry.
Ah, and here I thought I was getting better at reading the room.
Anyway, this new world of ours needs all 6 elements in proper balance, so we're shutting down the mausoleums to help that happen.
So 6 elements are part of a new era. I never thought of it like that before. What a strange place. It's unlike any Renan or Danan structures I've seen before. Are they all like this?
We've seen a few of them, and I'd say they're mostly like this, yes.
Do you know a lot about architecture, Nazamiel?
No. Was that an odd thing to ask?
Not at all. It just means you're perceptive.
You're alert and paying attention to your surroundings. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and being curious is how you learn things. Speaking of which, I'm very curious about you.
Because I'm different?
Because you're interesting. And I want to get to know you, Nazamiel.
You... do?
We all do. Personally, I look forward to hearing more of what you have to say.
I'll try to think of something.
By the way, Alphen, what happened to your Sovereign outfit? That's some high-class gear, isn't it?
It's at docks with Shion's outfit. It stands out too much.
I admit, I fail to see how your current attire does so any less. Is it difficult to be seen as a hero?
I don't like being called the Blazing Sword.
Really?
Yeah. Danins and Renans make all kinds of assumptions just from that name. It doesn't feel good to be judged by people I've never even met.
Yeah.
Although I do admit it's a contradiction for me to say that while carrying around the very sword that gave me that name.
Perhaps. However, we need the sword to accomplish our current task. That's why you restored it with the Sovereign's powers, correct?
You're right. It was necessary. Nasamil, there's something I need to apologize for.
Apologize to me? Why?
It's probably my fault that you were a test subject in Lenegus.
Alphen, wait a second.
What do you mean?
The ones who experimented on the two of you did so for their own purposes.
Dohalim.
I understand how you feel, but there's no need to phrase things in such a misleading manner.
Can you please explain? I want to know.
It all started a long time ago, because Rena's Great Spirit wanted to absorb Dana's astral energy. Lenegus was created for that purpose, and the Sovereign was one of its parts.
Alphen escaped, but the Great Spirit needed a replacement to achieve its plan.
So they took me?
Yes, a lot of people were experimented on, and you were one of them.
Your crest was incomplete. Perhaps your modifications were not completely finished.
Because of Volron. Because he was completed first.
1 year ago, we may have met Nazamil in a different manner. I don't know why they let you go, but we can thank that for allowing us to encounter one another.
And you, Shion?
Mine was inherited. It was one of my ancestors who underwent modification.
So in a way, you being taken was a result of my actions. I'm sorry, Nazamil.
It's okay. You don't have to be. You didn't wish for it. And I'm no different from you. Besides, I didn't lose anything by being a test subject. And more than that, it makes me happy to know that there are other people like me.
Nazamil.
Bayfonju.
Could you see?
You know, Kisara, I've learned a lot traveling with you.
Oh? About what in particular?
Cooking. Getting to finally cook together again after so long has made me realize just how amazing a chef you really are. I need to take the opportunity to watch you at work again while I still have the chance.
Your cooking already has everyone coming back for seconds. I don't think there's anything left to teach you.
Oh, but there is. Not only do you season things perfectly every time, but your movements are so quick and precise. Compared to you, I'm just a novice. I hope you don't mind if I swipe a few of your techniques.
You've really gotten into cooking, huh, Shion?
Though, as usual, she still buys a ridiculous amount of ingredients.
There's no such thing as too many ingredients. And can you blame me for wanting to try out every new recipe we find?
I can relate. Trade between realms has flourished within this past year, and with it, the availability of exotic ingredients. It's the same in Vicente. The people there have been experimenting with food that incorporates a wider array of flavors.
You're telling me brand new gourmet cuisine is being invented all over the world? I want to try making and eating all of it.
Eating the food is one thing, but isn't it hard finding and learning a bunch of new recipes like that?
Yeah, you make a good point. In the past, Kisara has always been there to help me, but I'm not so sure it would be as easy on my own.
In that case, I'll put in the effort to learn some new recipes myself. That way I can teach you the next time we meet.
You will?
Of course. I'm not one to back down from a new cooking challenge. And besides, I really do appreciate your faith in me.
Why don't we all just go to Kisara's every once in a while? You teach the rest of us too, right?
Cooking classes with Kisara? I think I'd like to join in on that.
Very well. I'll take on all of you.
Are you gonna teach us? Or are you gonna fight us?
Until we find an official residence for you, this will be your home, Nazamil.
Guess this is where we say goodbye then. It won't be the same without you.
We'll be sure to stop by when we're in Vicent.
Okay.
Nazamil, we have something for you.
This is the charm from the ruins?
That's right. The good luck charm you give to someone special.
We all helped fix it up a little.
I know you said you don't have anyone special, but you're special to all of us. We thought this could be a reminder when you need it.
But Really?
Of course. Think of it as a sign of our friendship, and a promise that we'll meet again.
Basically, we're friends now.
Friends. My very own friends. Just like me.
It looks good on you.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon, Nazamil.
Okay.
Law?
Shh, I hear something moving.
What is it? Zoogles?
Couldn't it be just a mouse or something?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure what it is. Let's flush it out by force.
Wait!
Nazamil?
You followed us? Did something happen in the city?
No. I just didn't want to be left there.
Are you saying you'd rather live on your own outdoors than in a city?
It's not that. I just...
You want to come with us, don't you?
Yes.
All right.
Are you sure about this? After all, it's not like we'll never see each other again. And it's so much safer in Vicent.
That's true, but we all know the pain of being alone, don't we?
Well, yeah, but...
She does have the ability to disappear at will. If something happens, she can use that to hide herself.
Can you promise you'll do that, Nazamil?
Yes, I promise.
Then it's decided.
Are you okay, Nazamil?
I'm alright. I just tripped, that's all.
It only takes one untimely stumble to sprain an ankle. Keep your wits about you.
Right.
Are you hungry? It's easy to get a bit woozy on an empty stomach.
True. It might be a good idea to take a short break.
Hoodle says, make sure you take care of yourself. See? He's looking out for you too.
Right. I will. Thank you.
Nazamil has really opened up to us, hasn't she?
I think they might be doting on her a bit much, though.
It's an expression of their concern. As long as she doesn't mind and it doesn't impede her independence, I see no issue with it.
If they pamper her too much, she's gonna end up like a certain someone we know, and won't even be able to change her own clothes.
Ah, not to worry, Law. I have found that it is never too late to learn such things.
I'm not sure that's a good argument. Now, as for the seating arrangement... There. That ought to do it. How's it going on your end?
All the ingredient preparation is out of the way. I'm ready to start cooking.
Can I help with anything? Maybe I could be in charge of the seasoning.
No way. We don't want to risk putting people's tongues or stomachs in danger today.
Oh, right. What is it, Nazamil?
I gathered branches for the fire. Does this look like it will be enough?
Yeah, that should do it. Thanks for the help.
You're the guest of honor today, so you really didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, but I'd rather be together with everyone.
Oh, Nazamil's here too. Welcome back.
Huh?
What's the matter? Did I say something weird?
What do you mean, welcome back?
Huh? Well, you're finally back, aren't you?
It's just that no one's ever said that to me. I mean, not until now. so I don't know what I'm supposed to...
It's good to be back.
Huh?
When you hear welcome back, you can say that in response.
People say welcome back to their friends or family when they return to a place that's like home.
A place that's like home. But I...
This place is sort of like a home, too.
Good to be...
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be back.
There you go. Welcome back, Nazamil.
Welcome back.
Well then, let's get the preparations done before it gets dark. Mind lending me a hand, Nazamil?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Let's make this night one to remember.
You can leave that to me.
I hope we can travel together forever.
Forever would be impossible.
Why's that?
Travel has a purpose and a goal. Once the objective is reached, the trip is over.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But some things do last forever. Like friendship. The bonds we form will always be there.
I hope so.
Hey, is it just me, or are Hootle and Nazamil really getting along?
Yeah, I think Hoodle's really taken a shine to her.
Huh, that fluffball's usually so picky.
You don't get along with him?
Law's just jealous because unlike you, he can't get Hootle to like him.
Are you kidding me? This ornery little owl likes to peck at my head. You hear that? At my head!
Well, Dan and owls are a sensitive species. They're not too keen on the rowdy sort. Hoo, hoo, hoo. See? Hootle says you're just not cutting it.
Come on, what do you want from me?
Don't take it too hard, Law. Every other animal loves you, right?
Oh yeah, 'cause that's a huge consolation.
I think it's good that you're appreciated. It's a lot better than being hated.
What kind of pets do you like, Nazamil?
Well, there were no animals on Lenegus, and I wasn't in a position to keep a pet on Dana.
Oh, that makes sense. You never know. You might just have the chance someday, though.
You think so?
Definitely. You've clearly got away with animals, Nazamil. He said, there's no doubt about it.
Thanks.
You've changed.
Who, me?
Yes, you've loosened up.
I agree. You seem to be having fun.
To be honest, I don't really know what it's like to have fun. But unlike before, my heart feels lighter. It's a little strange, but it's not a bad feeling. I'd never wanted to use my power to help anyone before, nor had I ever been praised for it. And I never imagined I'd ever travel with someone. With friends.
I'm sure there are a lot more travels in your future.
In my future,
Do you have some kind of dream? Something you want to do?
I'm not sure. I've never thought about the future before.
You don't have to force yourself. Say, what about a hobby or something?
What do you like to do?
Oh. I like to draw.
To draw?
Just scribbling things I see or feel. Only sometimes, though.
Interesting. So you're an artist?
Sure, that got your attention.
But you draw the things that leave an impression on you, right? I think it's a lovely hobby.
If you don't mind, show me your drawing sometime?
Yeah. I'd like that. I didn't know.
About Niez and the hollowing? Of course you didn't know. We never told you about it.
But those people hate Alphen now.
It's not your fault.
But
If anything, it was my fault. This happened because I couldn't control my anger.
You didn't start it. They were going to hurt Nazamil.
Unfortunately, if you favor either side, the other will hate you. If you treat them equally, then they both will. People have strong opinions when it comes to the Blazing Sword. Pleasing everyone will hardly be a simple matter.
What about you, Dohalim? As the final lord, you're in a similar position, don't you think?
True. Some turn to me for help, while others despise me. All simply because I am a lord. But compared to the symbol that Alphen must bear, my burden is quite light.
People can be entitled about these kinds of things. If they assume someone is there to help them, they're doubly disappointed when that's not the case. In that, Danins and Renins are the same.
So, what will we do now?
Let's go back to Vicent for now. We can decide whether to divide up or not once we get there. It's so noisy. Is it morning already?
Wake up, everybody! Hurry!
What's wrong?
Nazamiel's gone.
What?
You sure she's not just taking a walk around while invisible?
Apparently not. She left behind a letter.
To my friends.
My first friends. It made me happy that I could help all of you. It made me happy to earn your praise. I don't want my friends to be sad. I don't want anyone to hate you. You all taught me that my power can be of use. So, I'm going to see if there isn't something I can do.
What is this? What are you planning on doing, Nazamiel? Somewhere nearby, aren't you? Please say something, Nazamiel! Nazamiel! It's been weeks. We're still searching for Nazamiel, using Vicent as our base of operations.
Oh, Hootle! What?
Did Hootle do something?
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just surprised to see him appear out of nowhere. I'm sorry for worrying you.
Shion, do you still have some of your anxieties from when you had your thorns?
Yeah, I guess. Sometimes I still panic when someone approaches me too suddenly. You know what they say about old habits dying hard.
Right. That must be difficult.
But overall, I've gotten pretty used to physical contact with others. It makes me happy more than anything.
The joy of human contact. Hearing that from you of all people makes it sound all the more wonderful.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And also, I think it's easy to forget as you grow older. But just the warmth of another can be really comforting. It's cold in Cyslodia, but when I hug Hootle tight, it warms me right to the soul.
I remember how, whenever I was feeling anxious or when times were hard, my brother would silently rub my back. The warmth of his hand told me that everything was going to be all right. It was reassuring.
Yeah, it's a way of communicating without words, isn't it?
I've still only experienced that a few times, but I think I understand.
Well, for what it's worth, you're always welcome to hug me, or even just lean on me, whenever you want. You too, Rinwell.
Yeah, and the same goes for the two of you with me. You too, Hootle. Look, Shion, Kisara's waiting for us with open arms.
Really? Now? Well, all right then. I guess it'll help me get more comfortable with this sort of thing. Thank you. Both of you.
You've been looking a bit blue these days. Want to talk about it?
Well, you know how for the past year I've been traveling with Shion? Without settling down in any one place like the rest of you?
To seal up the mausoleums, right? That's something only you guys can do.
The reason I didn't stay in cities for long was because I wanted to avoid people.
Because everyone's either calling you a hero or a destroyer, right? That's why you exploded in Nies, isn't it?
Yeah. I wanted to protect Nazamil, but it wasn't just for her. A lot of that anger was for my own sake as well.
But what else could you do? Any way you look at it, they were in the wrong.
Even so, I should have handled it better. If I hadn't lost control and caused this whole mess, Nazamil wouldn't have run off.
Look, I get why it's bothering you, but that doesn't mean...
It's not just her, is it? I get the sense that behind all this, you're actually anxious about your future.
Alphen's future? What are you talking about?
You really are perceptive when it comes to other people.
If people could be perceptive about their own business, no one would ever have anything to worry about.
No doubt. You're right, though. I'm in this mess just handling my own problems. I worry I'm not ready.
Regardless of what anyone says, it's your life. Don't let your future slip away from you. Or perhaps I should say, your future together?
Wait, that's... you mean Alphen and Xion?
Spluttering like a fish is not proper decorum, young man.
You're not even that old!
I'll still have to think it over and choose for myself, but I do feel better now. Thanks, guys.
Kisara, I have been meaning to ask you. Do you find your duties leaving you overworked as of late?
How abrupt. What brought this question on?
Well, it's only that I worry you haven't been able to find the time to go fishing.
Oh, is that all? There's no need to worry. I do have other ways to relax outside of fishing. I used to fish to secure food for the day, but now that the food distribution network has stabilized, that's no longer an issue. That said, if you're ever feeling a craving for fish, don't hesitate to let me know.
That's a lovely suggestion, but it's the sight of you by the water, rod in hand, that has been etched into my mind. I find it unfortunate that, within the past year, I no longer have as many opportunities to see you enjoying yourself in the great outdoors.
Why don't you try fishing yourself then? You might like it. In fact, I'd be happy to plan something. It'd give me a chance to introduce you to the joy of fishing. You on one side of the rod, a fish on the other. It's like a negotiation, but also the perfect time for self-reflection. Though, of course, what really keeps you coming back is the excitement of landing a big one.
I'm afraid I'll have to decline.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I let myself get a bit carried away.
Oh, no. I can tell that fishing truly is special to you. What I mean to say is, I'd prefer to be an onlooker, relaxing at your side, and perhaps engaging in conversation from time to time.
Oh, Doe. It's settled then. I'll find the opportunity when things have calmed down.
Of course. When that time comes, I look forward to accompanying you.
Everything we need is here.
Hopefully this will help the reconstruction start again.
You're lost in your thoughts again.
It was probably the blazing sword they needed, not me.
People who know you see you.
We all have a hard time with the discrepancy between our true self and the impression others have of us. But I doubt such knowledge will help you feel any better right now.
Hey, why don't we go back to Ulzebek? There's no point in staying here anyway.
Right. Let's go.
You're looking good, Doc.
You aren't looking too good yourself, though. I've been wondering when you'd show up. So, what is it? I don't know what you're struggling with, but just spit it out. That's the reason you've come here, isn't it?
I can't keep any secrets from you, can I? So, the truth is...
I see. So everyone comes to you asking for your help.
I don't mind being relied on. I mean, I'm happy to help. It's just that...
They take it for granted because you're a hero. That must be tough. I don't blame you.
I just don't understand. Renans hate me without question, while Danans call me a hero. Who in the world am I?
We spent such a long time as slaves. In some ways, I suppose we're still trying to get free. Listen, Alphen, how many hands do you have?
Hands? Well, I have 2.
And how many things can you hold at once with those 2 hands? You think the blazing sword can hold hundreds or thousands of things at once just because he's a hero? Nonsense.
Well,
all they see is the legend. They can't tell the difference between Alphen the person and Alphen the blazing sword. That's your real problem, isn't it? So you need to tell them. Remind them that you only have 2 hands.
are you saying I should abandon people even when they're asking for my help?
Not at all. You want to help everyone. That's a great mindset, and there's nothing wrong with it. However, in order for you to meet everyone's needs, you would have to grow 1,000 hands. No, even 1,000 wouldn't be enough. You'd still miss something, and the people would still complain. All you can do is choose what's important to you. What will you do with just those 2 hands of yours? You are the one who decides, Alphen. Not the people, not the blazing sword, but you.
I decide. I decide for myself. I do.
Feeling better?
Yeah. I guess, in the end, it seems I was bound by the word hero myself.
You freaked me out when you suddenly decided to talk to everyone on your own like that.
Those who depend entirely on others cannot truly call themselves free. A good lesson that we all should keep in mind.
The people here will eventually understand. I really believe that.
If everyone can learn to truly think and decide for themselves, I think they'll start seeing a lot of things differently. And hopefully, one day, they'll realize that the differences between Danans and Renans don't matter at all.
So then, now that you've decided to follow your heart, what do you want to do next, Alphen?
I want to find Nazamil. I'm not sure what she's going through, but I can't help but feel like she needs us. But first, I want to go to Niez.
Yes.
I want to speak to the people in different cities like I did in Olzebek. I'll start with Niez. I'll start sowing the seeds in every town, so that maybe, one day...
That's quite an undertaking. Difficult for a hero, let alone one man.
Well, I guess we'll just have to lend him a hand then, won't we?
Niez it is then.
Hurry it up, Alphen! Hey, you too, Lord Man!
Haste makes waste, young one.
Oh, don't even start with me on that. Come on, we're keeping everyone waiting.
He's right. Shion and Rinwell must be getting impatient with us too.
I don't believe that's the case. Look, they seem to be enjoying themselves.
It feels so comforting to just sit quietly side by side, next to each other. And being able to follow through with something you've set your mind to like that. It's dependable, you know?
Wow, you really have a soft spot for that sort of thing, don't you?
Are they talking about...
Yeesh. Kinda awkward if we butted in now, right, Alphen?
Not at all. We should say something.
No. It would be rude of us to interrupt. Let us assess the situation and choose the time to make our entrance with propriety.
You mean eavesdrop?
Personally, I really like those light, nimble movements. There's a graceful fluidity to them. And the strike that comes afterwards, it's always so cool, no matter which way you look at it.
Strike? Hold up.
For me, it's the poise I'm fond of. That dignified demeanor never seems to falter, all while staying alert and being receptive to even the most subtle shift in sounds.
Sounds.
I know. And those big, beautiful, thoughtful eyes. I keep finding myself inadvertently gazing into them.
Big, beautiful and thoughtful?
She's right. Elfin does have beautiful eyes.
But if anyone has thoughtful eyes, it's Dohalim.
But surely Big Eyes refers to Law?
I can't wait to see Zare again.
Cat!
When I see you speaking with other Renans, they always look so happy. It's made me realize just how many people depend on you, Dohalim.
I'm glad to be able to help, but I do feel it goes a bit too far sometimes.
You can say that again. Apparently, there are even some who want you to be the new ruler of the Renan people.
I suspect their minds are still trapped in the Renan mentality that the strong have an inherent right to rule and should be followed. Unfortunately for them, the reign they envision was but a fantasy, even in the old days. Going forward, they will need to face reality.
Yeah, a reality with no more lords or sovereigns.
Though there are still those enthralled by my title of former lord. I hope to see the day when they too can stand on their own two legs.
That said, I don't think people place their faith in you just because you were once a lord. I kept it from you so as not to burden you further, but there have been quite a few requests for you in Vicent as well.
Is that so? For what, pray tell?
Some want you to pass on your extensive knowledge by becoming a school teacher. Others say they want you to help them learn to appreciate music. And, as a request for the elegant and handsome Dohalim, there were even some who wished to be your lover.
Well, that's a scary voice.
Sounds less like people want things from him, and more like they just want him. I wish people talked about me like that.
There he goes, talking like an idiot again.
When it comes to children, they all want you to be their father. Sing them songs, read them stories, that sort of thing. It's actually rather sweet.
I see. Not all things people desire of me are quite so vapid, I suppose.
Yes. As a side note, I should mention that most of these requests happen to come from women. It must be wonderful to be so popular,
Kisara, why are you staring at me with a gaze like the coldest winter?
In the end, it sounds like wherever Dohalim goes, he leaves a string of hearts in his wake.
I certainly do no such thing.
Wow, Kisara, I'm amazed you know how to weave grass like that. You said you learned it from Miguel, right? It sounds like he really did teach you everything.
Yes. Just like that girl's mother. He used to weave grass into bracelets and necklaces for me back when we were kids.
Kisara?
Sorry, it's just... It occurred to me that something he taught me to make me smile is now bringing a smile to someone else's face. I know that I could never be as great as my brother.
You were the one who decided to fix the bracelet and find the girl.
Dohalim,
Miguel's dream is still alive thanks to you.
you're right. Thanks to meeting all of you, I can say my dreams are no longer just dreams.
Exactly. I couldn't even hope to count all the times I've been saved by your shield.
Yeah, Kisara, I can even do some housework now because you taught me.
You've always been a really good listener when I've got something on my mind.
And that one time I stained my clothes during a meal, I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there to help.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. It sounds like I've been helping all of you more than I realized. The ideals imparted to us can still be made a reality, but only by those who are alive now, in the present. I chose that path. There's still a long way to go, but for some reason, I feel radiant right now.
Oh? How very curious. Walking next to you, I feel the same way.
What should I fix today? How unusual of you to eschew proper etiquette, Dohalim.
Having been temporarily relieved of my duties in Pelegion, I want to enjoy some respite from the chaos.
Your work there isn't all that bad, is it?
Well, while drowning in a sea of paperwork, I find that memories of our travels together constantly tempt my scattered mind. even though I'm well aware that it wasn't all gaiety and glee.
It's natural for the mind to wander when it's been occupied with work for too long. Besides, our travels weren't all hardships either.
What about you? By all appearances, you seem to feel truly at home here.
Do I? I suppose I like it there for the same reasons you do. I think I know what you're trying to coax out of me, but no, not now.
Not while duty calls, I suppose. Oh, how I look forward to retiring and leading a quiet life.
Don't expect to be able to retire that easily. You still have a lot left to do before then. But you can do it, Dohalim. You aren't alone, after all.
Nothing could be more invigorating to hear. To a bright future.
To a bright future. Something still on your mind?
Do you think you'll ever call me Doe again?
Ah, you're hopeless. Of course I will.
We keep having to travel through all these caves and buildings. It's making me lose track of where we are.
True. But at least we get to do it without wearing those masks.
Speaking of masks, those Cal Basel guys didn't make them from scratch, did they?
Probably not. I've seen them at other mausoleums.
I'm sure it's another work of the Helganquil. They've been manipulating us in various ways. I suppose it was one of those attempts.
But this place was the stronghold of the Snake Eyes, wasn't it? I wonder why they didn't try to use the masks.
If Nazamiel has the same power as a sovereign, maybe she was able to use that power to activate the masks.
It was fortunate the Snake Eyes couldn't use them.
In the end, their entire group ended up getting taken over by those masks, huh?
Perhaps that's why Nazamiel was able to form Cal Basel in such a short period of time.
But for what? What is she trying to do? They talk about bringing peace, but what they're doing is the exact opposite. There's no way they can bring about peace like this. And Nazamiel should know that.
Hey, if we find anyone who needs help here...
I know. We'll make sure to ask what's wrong.
I'm hungry! So hungry! I can eat a whole horse by myself!
I bet. Speaking of dinner, I think it's Shion's turn to cook tonight, right?
I believe so. Let's ask if she can get started sooner rather than later. If for no other reason than to set a law down.
What? Something wrong?
Hush. They sound quite excited about something.
From what I've heard, a lot of people have been copying Kagari and Notio's wedding ceremony from last year.
Yeah, it's a traditional Renin ceremony, but ever since they got married, it's gotten super popular, even among Danon couples.
The whole thing was just so lovely. It was my first time attending a wedding, but I can definitely see the appeal.
Lovely, yeah. Oh, and all the food they served was delicious too.
I know, there was so much food, but everything they served was carefully chosen. And you could taste the care put into every bite. And the flowers. The arrangement they chose for Kagari's bouquet was a perfect fit for her. Also, during the banquet after the ceremony, Kagari and Notio were telling me the whole story about how they found their new house. They said it was okay if it was simple and bare bones. They just wanted a warm place where they could spend their days together. I want that too. A joyous ceremony for a loving couple starting a new life together. I guess dreams really can come true. It was a perfect day.
Sounds like someone may have been taking notes.
No, it's not like that. Anyway, Kisara, how about you?
Me? Well, I certainly don't think marriage is the most important thing in life. That said, I'll admit having a wedding ceremony does seem nice.
Really? It sounds like you both feel the same way then. Oh, speaking of which, Kisara, Do you remember what you said at Kagari and Notio's ceremony? About the bouquet toss?
You mean how if you can't catch a bouquet, you'll end up always being single and alone? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. As it turns out, that isn't true at all.
What? It isn't?
Apparently not. I actually just found out recently myself. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have mentioned it without checking first.
This is quite an interesting conversation. In more ways than one.
Seriously? Who cares about weddings and all that kind of stuff? Let's go already, I'm starving!
If we must. Personally, I feel it's rather boorish of you to spoil their fun.
Hey, you guys talking about weddings?
Oh, you three are finally back. Yeah, it turns out weddings are all the rage these days.
I have heard the same. There is no denying that Notio and Kagari's ceremony was a delightful occasion, filled with warmth and understanding.
That's for sure. Even after the ceremony was over, Shion just kept going on and on about how nice it had been.
I don't know about that.
Really? I guess I never realized.
Law must be misremembering, that's all. Anyway, I've got a dinner to make.
Seems like it's a bit of a touchy subject for her. It would probably be best not to press her on it.
What is it, Alphen? Is something the matter?
No, sorry, I'm just realizing that there's so much I don't know. I had no idea that weddings were popular, that Shion was so interested in them. Any of it.
Don't let it get to you. Paying attention to such things is simply not in your nature.
Damn, Dohalim! Are you trying to cheer the poor guy up or rub salt in the wound?
No, it's fine, Law. Dohalim is right. Still, it's something I need to work on. Otherwise, it could get me into real trouble in the future. Maybe someday I'll, find someone I want to marry. If my bride is someone who cares deeply about the wedding ceremony, then that means it should be important to me, too. I don't want to use my own ignorance as an excuse to make my bride-to-be do all the planning. That would be a huge burden for one person to carry, right?
That may be the case, but I'm still not sure what you're getting at.
I just think that it's important to know about weddings. Not only weddings, but marriage in general. I need to learn more about them so I can be prepared. I want to do some research and fill in the gaps in my knowledge. That way I'll have the confidence to help out and make informed decisions when the time comes. But I've never done something like this before. I have no idea where to even begin. So...
You're saying you want us to help you out? You got it! To be honest, I don't really know that much about the subject myself, though.
Thanks, Law.
Oh, speaking of which, you should definitely make sure to ask Shion for help. There's probably nothing about nuptials that she doesn't know.
No. Sorry, but I, want to keep this a secret from her. Because, I'm doing this for my own benefit. So I want to do as much of it as possible on my own, without being a burden on anyone else. I realize I'm asking for some assistance from all of you guys, but I don't want to bother Shion with this. If I did, then I'd end up relying on her too much. I really want to avoid that. So, I want to do this research, but I also want to keep Shion from finding out about it. Can you help me?
Whoa, that was a whole lot of words. But I think I get what you're trying to say. You could have just said you don't want to cause trouble by not knowing anything, because you finally decided you want to marry Shion. Ow!
You need to work on your filter, Law. You don't have to say every thought that pops into your head. You aren't a little kid, are you?
Ah! Oh. Sorry.
My. Those growing pains can sure pack a wallop.
At any rate, I think I speak for all of us when I say we are sympathetic to your cause. We shall assist in your research and keep it to ourselves. You should go about this endeavor in your own way. If you do not wish to involve Shion at this time, then so be it. But be mindful that should she find out, you'll likely need to explain all of this to her.
The pursuit of knowledge is a noble one. I'm rooting for you, Alphen.
Thanks, all of you.
There it is!
The teleporter.
Let's hope it works.
What's wrong?
This is where we found that good luck charm.
Who would have thought we'd end up coming back in a situation like this?
In the end, maybe it was the charm that guided us to this place.
That should do it. Let's hope the coordinates are correct.
I wonder if we'll end up fighting again.
Can't say for sure, but we have to stop her.
Yes. Or everyone in those masks will stay that way forever.
When Nazamiel put on the mask, she said she should just disappear. She erased herself with the mask. And now the people are shouting her feelings instead.
People should speak their thoughts with their own mouths. More than that, they should be allowed to speak their own thoughts.
Let's go.
We don't know what's waiting for us on the other side. Keep your guard up, everyone.
I hope Nazamiel is getting enough to eat, now that she's not here with the rest of us.
Yeah, I hope she isn't letting herself go hungry.
Just the idea of her hungry makes me wish we could treat her to another good meal again.
Yeah, like when Nazamiel was helping us look for the mausoleum back in the forest near Niez. Gathering ingredients and cooking together. That was our first meal with her. The look on her face when she took the first bite. I don't think I'll ever forget it. She said the food was really good.
You know, if you think about it, for Nazamiel, just being able to share a meal with other people was like a special occasion.
I need to let her know that there's tons of even better food out there.
Then why don't we all take some time to come up with different dishes we'd like to treat Nazamiel to?
Well, there's gotta be meat. Nothing fills the stomach and fuels the body like meat.
I'm vetoing any of Law's sloppy cooking. It needs to be something proper.
Proper? My cooking is totally proper. Plus, meat helps you put on muscles, you know.
So? Nazamiel hardly needs muscles now, does she? Anyway, I think we should make her something sweet.
Shion, perhaps this is a chance to introduce her to some rare delicacies?
It could be. I think it's important for us to explore what kinds of different foods she might like. Let's see what ingredients we have.
Wait, you're not planning to have all of these ready at once, are you? I think we should focus on just one dish for the moment. It should be something that we're sure she's gonna like. And I think I have the perfect idea. It should be the same thing we had together that first time. It's hard to beat good memories.
Of course. You're right, Alphen. I can't believe I didn't think of it. We should definitely make her that.
Right? Not bad.
That might not be enough, though. We should also have something like...
Meat! There's gotta be meat!
Don't forget something sweet!
Or the delicacies.
I'm starting to feel sorry for Nazamiel's stomach.
She's gone. What was that?
So, it wasn't the real Nazamiel after all?
It wasn't a Zoogle in disguise or anything, was it?
It wasn't a living thing. It was like a mass of astral energy.
We are inside a huge facility that controls astral energy. The real Nazamiel must be connected to it somehow. Could it be a physical manifestation of astral energy? Just like how Nazamiel's consciousness is flowing into the suppressor?
But why would it get in our way instead of coming like the people in town?
Do you think it was because she doesn't want to see us?
No, it didn't look like she recognized us.
That shadow. I think it's somehow caused by Nazamiel's fear, trying to keep us out. Sometimes, when someone has been hurt badly enough, they shut down and close out the world to keep from being hurt again. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's possible Nazamiel's mental state is affecting the Keystone's defense systems. If so, I fear there may be worse to come.
We could get lost.
Nazamiel's just up ahead.
Yeah, I'm certain she's there. Let's go.
Alphen?
Why am I thinking about him of all people right now? About Volron.
You mean about not being able to save him? I doubt there was any way to help that man.
Alphen said he forgave him, but then he went and chose to blow himself up.
Under different circumstances, I could have wound up just like him. And there would have been no end to us hating one another. So I realized I had to be the first to let my hatred go. I thought it might save us both. But as far as Volron was concerned, that only meant his fate was in the hands of someone else.
He told you he didn't need your victor's pity.
I see. So that's why he chose death. In the end, he considered it his last remaining right.
Are you saying Nazamiel could do the same thing? But she's nothing like Volron.
Of course she isn't. But with both Volron and Nazamiel, I hadn't fully considered their feelings or state of mind.
We can't just impose our own thoughts onto her. That's what you mean, right?
I can't repeat the same mistake. I won't. Not ever again. We've been walking for a while. I think we're getting closer to Nazamiel. We've come all this way. I don't plan on us being the only ones coming back. Is that clear, everyone?
Understood.
Something the matter, Rinwell?
What Nazamiel is doing is wrong, and we have to put a stop to it. I understand that, but she's been through so much pain and misery, and she doesn't want to go through that anymore. That's why she locked herself away in there, right? I just wonder, is this really the right way? Won't it be bad for her if we force her out of there against her will?
I get your point, but...
It's not like we're dragging her out of there. I know that, but still.
Nazamiel felt rejected by us. That's why she closed her heart.
She's been rejected by others her entire life, and that's why she hoped we would accept her.
I thought telling her that she's not alone would open up her heart again.
Are you saying that's not enough?
If we just accept her, and that's all we do, it will be the same as it was before, and she'll still be letting others control her life.
Ultimately, she has to be the one to remove her own mask. We need to set her free. Even from us. Thanks, Rinwell. I feel like what we have to do is clear now.
There's no need to thank me. I just want this to be over with so we can be friends with her again. That's all.
Supporting each other is not the same as being dependent on one another. Difficult, but true.
Let's move on. We have to set Nazamiel free.